Thank you, Dr. Paul. It was wonderful hearing you. I think our brains are filled with lots of insights from you, so it will take some time to digest. I would like to ask the participants, if you have your questions, please post it in the chat box. We will have Mr. Thuong, who's a faculty of New Testament here in HBI. He will be compiling everything and bringing it up in the discussion. Now we will have a response from Dr. Paul Ebenezer, who's the faculty in the Department of Missions, and he will give a response to Dr. Paul Barker. Anna, please.
Thank you for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you for the wonderful presentation, sir. I felt like being in the class, a vertical class. So I enjoyed the class, your presentation thoroughly. I have taken some hints in order to respond the paper. So the meticulous, the commencement of the paper was like you started with the father of the Protestant missionary movement, the Father William Carey. With that, you started with, which helped us to understand the key thread of mission, like how to read Bible missionally. That's one of the key points in which you started with, and helped us to understand the piecemeal approach and the biblical approach, which was really intentional of listening your paper, and also helping us to understand the mission, like helping us the understanding, like we have to participate with God's mission, accomplish the bigger task of God, which was one of the important things. And also explained us like mission is not just preaching, it's not proclamation, helping us to understand the three-dimensional of kerygma, like preaching, like diaconia, this union, like fellowship, and also the important things of kerygma, diaconia, and koinonia, the three important things that you helped us to understand, which was more interesting to listen. And also one of the important points that we are trying to bring, like helping us to understand, is like to connect into the kingdom, which you are trying to help us to understand. That was one of the interesting question. That also you placed one of the interesting question is everything mission, which was a thought-provoking, helping us to understand. Sometimes we say everything is mission, so we have to give a pause and think of, is it everything mission that I'm talking about? And again, you also talked about the proclamation. The proclamation needs to have integrity, and the integrity should help us to have an activity, and that activity should take us to have the relationship. The broken relationship should be restored. That's one of the things that you talked the first session, which was very interesting, sir. And the second the session, as we are talking about, you were helping us to understand the unity and the diversity, which was quite interesting to listen, because you are helping us to understand the two testaments, like the Old Testament and the New Testament. And one of the important things, like similarity and reality, you are trying us to get that link, similarity and reality, which was a wonderful thought-provoking session. And again, the 6 stages that you were trying to bring us was one of the innovative things to understand, like creation, fall, the salvation promised, the salvation lived, and salvation fulfilled, and so on, which was again interesting us to listen you, sir. And also to bring this Old Testament and New Testament understanding, like shadow and reality, and helping us the blueprint and the real building, which were helping us to understand the Old and the New Testament, and also to understand the importance of God. Like you are trying to help us to understand the purpose of God. The purpose and the grace of God remain same in both the testaments, which were helping us to draw the line to understand the third, the significant session that you have helped us to understand, where does mission begin? The question that you started with, and explained us that creation is a foundation. Like it is not the mission itself, but it is a foundation wherein we will able to really inculcate the process of how God was so instrumental of letting us to join in the process of understanding his purpose and his grace on the face of the earth, to see the kingdom of God to be established and extended. That was amazing thoughts, sir. Thrilled of listening from you about the fall. Then you talked about the fall, the humanity and the creation, like the broken relation between the God and humanity and the creation, and the broken relation between the horizontal and the vertical dimension, which was a wonderful thought. And again, helping us to the 4 highways, which was one of the easiest way of letting us to experience the 4 highways about the people, again the land, and the blessed, and be a blessing. So those were interesting thought. And after having said, you have taken us to the Exodus, which was again the thought-provoking section, because you were asking, let my people go. and helping us to grasp the two dimensions, the centrifugal mission and the centripetal mission, helping the Old Testament to understand the centripetal drawing in and the centrifugal going out. As it's like we are just understanding the fact that the Old Testament concept, the law and grace, how it is going to be implemented in the New Testament concept, which were helping us to understand, bringing some of the personalities like Rahab, Ruth, and Naaman, and so on. And there's so many examples that you were trying to bring about the obedience and so on. So, which was one of the important things. Again, in section 5, when we are talking about the Davidic kingdom, which was very good, helping us to understand the curse of the covenant, how it joins, like the curse of covenant, how it continues, and helping us to have the tragedy of letting us to go very quickly about the eschatological understanding, like taking us to the time of Zerubbabel and the time of Cyrus and Ezra and Nehemiah, and rebuilding the wall, and how the temple is becoming so significant, and letting us to understand the two dimensions. After being blessing, how we can be a temple, how we can be the kingdom. So those two lines that you were trying to bring was so amazing to discuss upon. And the way that you brought us to the New Testament was amazing, because you led us a pathway to understand go in is a mission. So you asked a question, like, because the go, which is the word that mostly we use and say, but you are asking a question as, is this the mission is all about? So you have given a wonderful explanation saying go is emphasis that is being given. Then you helped us to understand about the Noah, where God is interested people, but also the nations. So the nation should be an attractive agent. So that point was one of the highlight points that you were trying to help us to understand. Very particularly, like Isaiah chapter 40, taking us to servant understanding. See, one of the thoughts you were helping us to understand, when Israel failed, God used them to fulfill the obligation. God used them to fulfill the responsibilities, and taking us to the last session, like how the psalmist uses, like standing in the border and shouting at the joy, which was saying not even just we are moving into that border, but staying in our border, still are we able to shout for the Lord, and are we able to bring the kingdom in their lives, being in the place where we are. So those were important things. And at last, the way that you were trying to bring forth the comparison of the Old Testament, the New Testament was amazing. Like you were taking about the people. Now you asked whether Jew or Gentile or a Greek, who are the Jesus Christ, who are the bride? There's a question that you had asked, and helping us the responsibility of the church, which was amazing. And then you take of the land, you're saying about the terrestrial, the material possession is not there, it's an heavenly possession, putting up the Paul's understanding, which again need to be noted. And again, the blessing in the Old Testament, how people have looked at the blessing of the Old Testament, how they were be blessing, and again taking us to the temple and the kingdom. And the last point, like you have taken us the tabernacle and the temple, and then the synagogue and the church and the bride, and we are the bride and we are the church today, and we are the responsible here. And you asked us to understand we are participating in the God's mission in order to see the kingdom of God is going to be established and extended. That's where, so it was a one thought-provoking session, and helping us to understand the mission. You have actually taken us from the Genesis to Malachi, and I was expecting that the Malachi will be the end, but even you have taken to the Revelation, which was a wonderful thought, sir. We want to really appreciate for your presentation. We want to really salute you for the opportunity that you have given us to listen to your words and understand the whole program of mission from the creation, which is the foundation of the mission, to understand how God has initiated this process and how is God going to implement in his kingdom. So I want to really thank you for the opportunity of listening to your words, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Paul Anand, for that wonderful response. I think Dr. Paul Barker comes with a great, rich experience with faith communities and church ministry, and that is the way that Dr. Paul has been bringing out this mission as a responsibility and not as a kind of a benefit that is placed on especially Israel. So I think it is wonderful response. Thanks, Anna, for that. Now this is the time for the question answer session. So I would like to give it to Mr. Thuong, who's the faculty at HBI. So he's going to coordinate and bring all the questions, and we will have some time after that. Dr. Paul Barker will respond to the questions.